Hey guys, welcome to another video. In today's video, we'll be discussing the best approach to get up to speed on any track, driving any car on iRacing. And I promise you that at the end of this video, you will improve your lap time immensely. Now, if you're new to this channel, this is NEA Racing. So, you are new to iRacing, or you've been in iRacing for a while, but you've been struggling to gain speed or improving your lap times in certain tracks. And well, this video is for you, and I will show you approaches that you can take that would change some things you might be doing. Some of the things that I would mention here, you might have been doing them before, or you haven't been doing them. At the end of the video, I promise you, if you take these approaches that I'm going to give you, which is just 3 approaches, it will change your lap time and improve your lap time immensely. First approach is, first things first, you need to know what series you want to compete in. If it's like as you see on the screen, there's the Ferrari GT3 Challenge. If it's the MX5 Cup Series, if it's the Proto GT Challenge, whichever one that you want to do, you go to the calendar. For example, let's use the Ferrari GT3 Challenge for example. If you click on this Ferrari GT3 Challenge, if you want to know what their schedule is, you click right here on the schedule, and it will show you all the races that is for the current season. Now, assuming you're someone who wants to focus on one season, this is where this approach would really help you immensely. For every track, go and do a test drive for a private test drive session, and make sure you're doing this actually on the same week that the race is live or is on. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because this test drive, you're not supposed to stay there for too long. When you're doing your solo drives, the main purpose, which is the first approach, is to have a private session and a test drive. And the goal is, if you don't know the track layout, this is where you learn the track layout. The reason I say you shouldn't stay in this first approach for a very long time is that if you're learning the track and you start learning breaking points and all that stuff, there might be bad habits that you have, that if you spend so much time in this first approach, it will be hard for you to let go of those bad habits, because for you to get faster, you have to actually unlearn some things that you learned in your private session. So now, approach 1 is having a private session where you just test drive the car on the track. Things you're just trying to figure out is the track layout, the way the car behaves in the track, understand just the turns, just the track layout and the behavior of the car. Those are the first 2 things, the main things you're checking on that private session. You should not you shouldn't be aiming for the fastest lap times. Another thing you can do in the private session that will help is watch YouTube videos of people who have set lap times on those tracks and learn from them. Make sure you go to the most recent lap times, in terms of posts, because iRacing is always updating the cars. So sometimes the way the gear shifts, or the ratio of the gears might change due to maybe some regulation changes in the real life car. So they change that in iRacing. So maybe in a turn where you usually take in second gear, you might actually be able to take it in a third gear. So if you watch an old video, it might be showing you taking it on second gear, while the new one will show you taking that same turn using the third gear. That's another thing with the YouTube video. Now, the second approach, which is also important, is to go to an official practice session. The reason for this is, you go there, you set up a little bit of lap time, and then you watch for the fastest driver. The reason I bring this official practice session is that not all fast drivers have a YouTube channel. not all fast drivers post their lap times on YouTube. So this is where you see what driver has the fastest lap time of that practice session. Now what you're going to do is go to that driver's go to the driver's onboard footage, like you're inside his car and the cockpit view. And two things you should, or the major things you should watch, because I can say too, there are multiple things you're watching. But first, watch his line. Watch the line he's taken. Watch how much curb he's taken or she's taken. Watch what gears they're taking in certain turns. How much curb they can take without being off track. Watch all those things. But most importantly, watch their throttle and brake input. Where they're trail braking, where they're slamming on the brakes, where the brake is 50% input or just 20% input, how they get back on the gas, on the throttle, how that input, what that input does to the reaction of the car. Watch that and then try to replicate that in the live practice session. After you've done that, you can still go back to approach 1, where you take all you've learned and practice that on your own till you get up to speed. And if you're able to get that his lap time, try to then add consistency to the lap that you've done. Let's say the fastest lap the guy was able to do was a 134.9 and you were able to do a 135.1, which is not far. You can work on making that lap, repeating that lap time and be at least a tenth or 2/10 off the lap and eventually go for the 134.9, and that would help. Now, after you've gained confidence, consistency, and speed, third approach is the most important one. It's a 2-step approach. You're going to host 2 AI races and make sure that the settings of the AI is really high. Find an AI rating that matches the lap time of drivers that you find yourself racing. Now, first thing is the first AI race you're going to host, place yourself at the back. Start from the last place position. The reason for this is you're going to build racecraft in terms of knowing when to overtake, timing your overtake, knowing when to be aggressive with your overtake, or knowing when to be patient. That's what starting from the back is going to help you. It's going to help you to be more decisive with your overtakes. It's going to help you to be to know when to be aggressive, to know when to be patient, because when you're starting from the back, if you've never been in that position before, when you do it for a race and you find yourself crashing out, you try to repeat the same thing again till you find yourself making up positions. That way you learn without damaging your rating on iRacing. You learn the best place to make an overtake and the places where drivers would tend to block you if you try to make an overtake. And then the second race you're going to host with AI, you start from the front. And the reason for this is to know how to defend properly. Know when to defend and know when not to defend. If a driver is struggling to keep up with you and make an overtake, then you can defend. But if it's already coming close to you at an amazing speed compared to you, like a lot faster than you, then hey, it's better that I let this guy pass and I follow him and see where I'm missing. I'm missing a chunk of lap times. That's where these 2 hosted races are truly important. One starting from last place position and another one starting from the first place, so that you put yourself in a position where you're attacking and also put yourself in a position where you're defending, and also set the AI in such a way that the driver behind you is clearly faster than you. That way you learn how to defend in a proper way without abusing track limits or driving in an unsafe manner. These are the three approaches, and then after you've done all this, then you can fully go to a race and do a race. And hopefully, this does not mean that with all these approaches you might not fall into bad luck where someone crashes into you or something happens. That most times is motorsports, sim racing. They will definitely happen, especially if you're in a race where some drivers are not as skilled as you, or just it can just be bad luck, and you might actually be the one who made a mistake or something. It happens. But this approach would prepare you not just to be fast, consistent, but also to have better racecraft, so that when you're racing with the big boys, like people like Max Verstappen and all the sim gurus in iRacing, you'll be able to race and they would actually be able to enjoy racing with you. So that's the approach those are the three steps or the three approaches that I use to get up to speed on any track. The reason I brought up this approach is also because when you see people like Max Verstappen on a racetrack, and you see other drivers like Upmare, and some people, some other drivers. I love watching Dave Cam. His for me, I think he's a fast driver, but he's more patient. He times his move and everything. The reason I brought up this approach is that some of these drivers who are extremely fast on iRacing, pretty much some of them, this is all they do. They're part of an esports team or something, so all they just do is sim race all day. Now, for most people who have daily jobs that they go to, they don't have all that time. This approach would help you maximize your practice time without practicing the wrong things. If you stay on your own, you're probably going to get a bad habit and stick with it. But if you watch other drivers during your practice session in that learning phase, you tend to pick up good habits and use them to become fast on iRacing. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you guys try this out. Let me hit me up in the comments section. Let me know if this was very helpful. Let me know how much time you gained in whatever track, what car you were driving. And always, guys, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for being part of the NEA Racing family. And if you like contents like this, please do not forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you get notified every single time I post a video. Until next time, guys, peace.